Princess is a premium cruise line known for its global itineraries, deluxe cruise experiences, and innovative technology. And for Alfredo's, the best pizza at sea.
That's a good pizza.
Princess has a fleet of 16 ships, soon to be 17 when the Star Princess debuts in 2025. While you can expect a certain consistency across all of the Princess cruise ships, each one has its own unique character and venues. In this video, we'll take a look at each ship in the Princess Cruise Line fleet and rank them from best to worst. There's a lot to cover, so let's get started. Before we begin looking at the individual ships, let's do a quick rundown of what you can expect on any Princess cruise ship. Of course, you will find all of the standard things that most cruise lines have. This means complimentary formal dining, a buffet, and an assortment of bars and lounges with live music throughout the ship. All Princess ships also have a poolside pizza joint, a grill with burgers and hot dogs, and an ice cream parlor. Now, if you've cruised before, you know that most of the dining venues on board are not open around the clock. But unique to Princess, there is one, the 24-hour International Cafe. It can usually be found on the main floor of the Piazza, the interior hub of every Princess cruise ship. Princess also has a mix of casual and specialty dining venues available for an additional fee. These vary depending on the ship, and we'll talk about each as we rank every cruise ship. Elsewhere on board, you will find a spa and a fitness center, as well as outdoor facilities for basketball, racket sports, golf, and jogging. Inside, you'll find a casino, a theater, at least one dance club, and several bars. All Princess ships also offer movies under the stars with a giant movie screen above the main pool. And what is cruising without the pools? Unlike other cruise lines, Princess uses fresh water in all of their pools. Princess has some of the largest pools we've found on a cruise ship, as well as plenty of hot tubs scattered throughout the upper decks. If you've cruised on Princess before, you are probably familiar with their medallion device, the small round disc that opens up a slew of features for Princess guests. We talk about it a bit more in this video. This is a unique feature that sets Princess apart. For now, anyways. Many other cruise lines have started to copy this wearable technology, but to date, Princess is the only line that includes it at no extra charge for all cruisers. The final feature I'll mention is a bit more mundane. All of Princess's cruise ships have a self-service laundry room. This is a great option for longer cruises and one we have taken advantage of many times. Okay, on to the ships. We'll start with the oldest ship in the Princess cruise fleet, the Grand Princess. She is the original of the Grand class of cruise ships. Her two identical sister ships, the Golden Princess and the Star Princess, were both transferred to P&O in 2020. Currently, the Grand Princess has cruise itineraries that visit Alaska, the Caribbean, and Hawaii. The Grand Princess has a slightly different layout than most of the other Princess cruise ships along the upper decks. The kids zone is situated at the forward end of the ship, right next to the adults-only sanctuary. There is a splash pool for the kids on deck 16, and the adults-only spa pool is just below on deck 15. There are also two deep-water pools midship on the Lido deck, a plunge pool overlooking the wake at the aft of deck 12, and a total of 8 hot tubs throughout the upper decks. As for dining, the Grand Princess has a decent selection for her size. She has the usual complimentary dining with 3 main dining rooms, a buffet, poolside pizza, burgers and ice cream, and the International Cafe. She has one casual dining option, the most popular of Princess's offerings, Alfredo's Pizza. You will also find 2 specialty dining venues, Sabatini's Italian Trattoria and the Crown Grill. These 3 venues are staples of the Princess Cruise Line, and you will find them on many of their ships. The Grand Princess does not have a mini golf course, but there is a lawn court for practicing your putts or playing croquet. There is also no jogging track, but there is an exterior deck that circumnavigates the ship on the promenade level. Something to keep in mind if you are pre-booking a spa day pass is that the Grand Princess does not have a thermal suite. She does have the standard massage, sauna, and beauty salon facilities. If you are looking for a unique and luxurious stateroom, you may want to check out the Grand Suites. Rooms L301 and L302 are located midship on the Lido deck. These suites include both a fireplace and your very own private jacuzzi tub on your balcony. Talk about romantic! The Grand Princess is the only Princess ship that offers suites with this feature. The suites cost about $1,000 per day. We have to deduct a few points for the design of the upper decks. I much prefer ships where the adults only area has as much separation as possible from the kids zones. I want kids to have an area that they can run, play, and have fun, but the adults need an area where they can enjoy some peace and quiet. It is also disappointing that a thermal suite was not added to the spa during the latest update in 2019. That makes the Grand Princess the only princess ship without this option. We rank the Grand Princess 4 out of 10. In 2004, Princess constructed the Caribbean Princess by altering the design of their grand class of ships to add another passenger deck and a new dance club. The Skywalkers Nightclub sits at the top of the ship, right on the stern. Its cantilevered windows offer guests an amazing view of the ship and the ocean. Princess also improved the layout of the top decks, keeping the sanctuary and adults only pool at the front of the ship, while moving the kids zone with their splash pool to the far aft. There is a wake view pool near the kids zone and 2 deep water pools midship on the Lido deck. Because the Caribbean Princess was originally intended to stay in the Caribbean year-round, none of the pools have a retractable roof. All 5 are open to the sun. There are also 7 hot tubs located throughout the upper decks. In addition to the standard complimentary Princess dining options, the Caribbean Princess has 2 pop-up casual dining venues. During dinner, the back area of the buffet is converted into seating for Planks Barbecue and Steamer's Seafood. You will also find the specialty restaurant Sabatini and the Crown Grill on board. The Caribbean Princess does have a thermal suite available in the spa, although it is one of the smallest offered on any Princess ship. As her name implies, the Caribbean Princess was originally intended to stay in the Caribbean year-round, but she now also cruises in Alaska and the Mediterranean. Some passengers may notice the lack of a covered pool option while cruising in these colder climates. We love the separation between the adults and the kids area on the upper deck, and the Wakeview pool near the kids zone means parents still have somewhere to hang out close to their kids, if they want. The Skywalkers Nightclub is a great addition and a unique concept. We have to deduct a point for the casual dining venues of Planks and Steamers because by all accounts, these are under-advertised. Many cruisers never get a chance to eat here because they are so hidden. We rank the Caribbean Princess as a 5 out of 10. We're going to take a step back in time and look at the Island Princess and the Coral Princess. They were built in 2003, a year before the Caribbean Princess. These are the smallest ships in the Princess fleet, as they were built to go through the Panama Canal. Initially, they were intended to navigate the Panama Canal, offering a 7-night Alaska cruise and Central American cruises during the rest of the year. After the COVID-19 pandemic, Princess launched a world cruise itinerary for these 2 sister ships. The Island Princess will continue her global travels in 2025, while the Coral Princess returns to the Panama route. While these sister ships are almost identical in layout, there are a few significant differences, so we'll look at them each individually, starting with the Coral Princess. Despite being smaller than the other ships in the fleet, the signature Princess touch has a big presence on the Coral Princess. The 4-store piazza is the entertainment hub of the ship. You can find live music here most evenings, and there is often a cruise activity taking place during the day. The Princess Shops and Crooner's Bar overlook the piazza on decks 6 and 7. At the very top of the piazza, on deck 8, there is both a library and a card room. Outside, the layout of the Coral Princess is a bit different. The fee-based sanctuary is located at the stern rather than at the bow, as on most Princess ships. It has a 3-level tiered sun deck with a pool for the exclusive use of sanctuary guests on the lowest level. There is another difference from most other Princess ships where the closest pool to the sanctuary is adults only but does not require a sanctuary pass. In addition to the sanctuary pool, there is the covered Lotus pool near the spa area, a larger pool midship on the Lido deck, a small splash pool at the bow, and 5 hot tubs. There are 2 features unique to the Coral Princess. First, the 2-level Universe Lounge. This club is similar to Club Fusion found on other Princess ships, but on the Coral Princess, there are nightly shows specifically created for the stage of the Universe Lounge. Secondly, instead of aft-facing suites, Deck 10 and 11 have a public area for watching the wake, but the secret, little-known location makes them seem private. The Coral Princess has 2 main dining rooms, as well as the usual assortment of complimentary food venues. Rather than the Crown Grill, there is the Bayou Cafe and Steakhouse. You will also find the classic Sabatinis. During lunch on sea days, Sabatinis is turned into a pop-up Alfredo's Pizzeria with a reduced menu from the full restaurant found on board other Princess ships. The Coral Princess is noticeably smaller than many other cruise ships, but with only 2,000 passengers, that means a more intimate experience, and for us, that gets an extra point. Of course, the trade-off is fewer unique dining and entertainment experiences. Personally, I love to take a trip through the Panama Canal on this ship. We rank the Coral Princess a 6 out of 10. Moving on to the Island Princess, this ship has a blueprint identical to the Coral Princess. However, there were several changes to the interior layout, which results in a very different cruise experience. First of all, staterooms have been prioritized over public spaces on the Island Princess. That means that the Universe Lounge on decks 6 and 7 is gone. Those secret aft viewing areas on deck 10 and 11 are gone too. The promenade deck no longer allows a full circumnavigation of the ship. And the 3-tiered sanctuary was reduced to only 1 level, all to make more rooms for suites. This is great news if you want to book a coveted aft-facing balcony, but not so great news for everyone else. The fitness center on the Island Princess is now on deck 6, surrounded by staterooms, no windows. This is the only cruise ship I've ever seen where you aren't offered a view of the ocean for your morning treadmill run. The Island Princess has 1 less pool than the Coral since the aft sanctuary pool was removed. There is still the covered Lotus pool, a larger Lido pool midship, and a splash pool at the front, and 5 hot tubs. The Island Princess is even more limited for food venues than the Coral Princess because there is no international cafe on board. This means there is no 24-hour food option. There are 2 specialty restaurants, the Bayou Cafe and Steakhouse and Sabatini's Italian Trattoria, as well as a pop-up Alfredo's on sea day lunches. One positive thing, that can be found on the Coral Princess too, is that the buffet is located at the front of the ship. There are huge windows looking out into the ocean, which makes for a great view during your meal. We must deduct points for the changes Princess made to the deck plan on the Island Princess. The end result of these changes is that the Island Princess has more passengers with less public space. In our opinion, this completely defeats the purpose of sailing on a smaller ship. Also, because there is no club-style lounge, the live band and dancing has been moved to the piazza, which really isn't big enough to accommodate this. We do have to give the Island Princess a point for continuing her world cruise itinerary in 2025. We aren't quite ready for such a long-term cruise commitment, but it is fun to dream about. We rank the Island Princess as a 3 out of 10. Focusing on the grand class of cruise ships again, we'll look at sister ships Sapphire Princess and Diamond Princess. These have the original number of decks, but the nightclub design was changed up again in an exciting way. On both ships, the Skywalkers Nightclub is located on the top deck at the aft of the ship. The unique design mimics the ship's bridge with wings that extend out over the side of the cruise ship. That feature, combined with the cantilevered windows, makes for some breathtaking ocean views. And the club is a happening place at night too, with a lighted dance floor and a DJ spinning tunes until the wee hours of the morning. Let's take a closer look at these 2 ships, starting with the Sapphire Princess. We have a special connection with this ship because we sailed on her to South America during one of our favorite cruises. On the Sapphire Princess, the piazza is truly the entertainment hub of the ship, with a rotating cast of performers playing live music for most of the day. While we have cruisers complain that the piazza felt too small on other Princess ships, on the Sapphire Princess, it was perfect. Circling the piazza on deck 5 were the International Cafe, Good Spirits at Sea, Vine's Wine Bar, and Alfredo's Pizzeria. This offered plenty of seating to enjoy the entertainment and easy access to a drink or a snack while doing so. Vine's Wine Bar is the location of Ocean Terrace Sushi Bar on sea days. There is also the usual buffet and poolside pizza, grill, and ice cream on the Lido deck, plus a Sabatini's Trattoria on the promenade deck. A new restaurant was introduced a few months after our sailing, the Churrascaria Brazilian Grill, located inside the buffet during dinner hours. Princess is testing this new specialty dining venue on the Sapphire Princess and the Diamond Princess. I predict that if it does well, we will see it added to the new Star Princess when it debuts next year. Next to Sabatini's on the promenade deck, you will find the largest internet cafe I have ever seen on a cruise ship. There are computers for public use, although guests must purchase a Wi-Fi pass. There also appears to be space for a beverage service with coffee and perhaps pastries, but it was not operational on our cruise. This looked like a nicely thought out but underutilized space. The Sapphire Princess has 5 pools and 6 hot tubs, which felt perfect on our sailing. The pools were never crowded, and we often had them completely to ourselves for 15 to 20 minutes at a time. The central Calypso pool is covered and temperature controlled. There is a fitness center, a spa with a thermal suite, a sports court for basketball and tennis, and a putting green for golf. While there is no jogging track, the exterior promenade deck does go all the way around the ship, but walkers must go up and down a set of stairs to get around the bow. As I mentioned, we loved our cruise on the Sapphire Princess and would happily sail on her again. There was the perfect balance of public space and cabins, and the venues never felt too crowded. The many lounges in different sections of the ship allowed a variety of entertainment to be offered without intruding upon the others. The one thing I'd love to see added is a mini golf course rather than the putting green. We rank the Sapphire Princess a 7 out of 10. The Diamond Princess is almost identical to the Sapphire, but there are a few key differences that cater to its mostly Asian itinerary. First of all, there are no food venues around the piazza on Deck 5. In fact, the International Cafe, Alfredo's Pizza, and Vine's Wine Bar are not found anywhere on the ship. Instead, the space is taken up by a larger library and an internet cafe. As I mentioned, the internet cafe on the Sapphire Princess was underutilized. Perhaps that is why, on the Diamond Princess, this space next to Sabatini's has been turned into the casual dining restaurant Kai Sushi. Here, cruisers have the option to get a prefix menu or to order sushi rolls a la carte. This has clearly been a popular restaurant on the Diamond Princess because Princess Cruise Line decided to include it on their recently released Sun Princess. The final difference on the Diamond Princess is at the aft of Deck 15. To cater to their Asian clients, Princess has created the impressive and luxurious Izumi Japanese baths. To make room for this, the kids zone has been greatly reduced in size. I should mention that the indoor baths are clothing optional, and while cruising around Japan, one should not be surprised to find guests enjoying the baths in the traditional manner. That's right, I mean completely naked. While we love the Sapphire Princess, I am not quite as eager to sail on the Diamond Princess. They have taken away a few of the venues we enjoyed the most, like Alfredo's and the International Cafe. The addition of the Izumi baths is intriguing, but probably not something we would personally use. We'd rank the Diamond Princess 5 out of 10. We'll take a look at one more group of Grand Class cruise ships, namely the Crown Princess, the Emerald Princess, and the Ruby Princess. These 3 ships are almost exactly identical in layout, both inside and out. An extra deck of passenger cabins was added to the original Grand Class blueprint for a total of 6 cabin-only decks. For dining, all 3 ships have 3 main dining rooms on Deck 5 and 6, and a buffet at the aft of the Lido deck. There is also a 24-hour international cafe in the piazza. The Salty Dog Gastropub can be found inside the wheelhouse bar on the promenade deck. This is not to be confused with the Salty Dog Grill on the Lido deck. Hamburgers, hot dogs, and other food at the grill are complimentary. The Gastropub is a casual dining restaurant and thus an extra charge. They serve burgers too, but also more upscale items like lobster mac and cheese and beef short ribs. Disappointingly, there is no Alfredo's on this trio of ships. If you want pizza, you are stuck going to Slice on the Lido deck. The Crown Princess, Emerald Princess, and Ruby Princess all have a Sabatini's and a Crown Grill as options for specialty dining. Club Fusion is a fun location at the aft of the ship. It is used for morning Zumba, dance classes, and bingo during the day. In the evening, it becomes a lounge with live music and a bar. If you enjoy the party vibe, you are in luck because these 3 ships also have the Skywalkers Nightclub with the extended wings overlooking the ocean. We really love this lounge and are glad to see that Princess decided to include it on more of their ships. The Crown Princess, Emerald Princess, and Ruby Princess all have 4 pools, a splash zone for the kids, and 7 hot tubs. None of the pools are covered, but some are heated. It seems like which ships have a pool heater can change, so if this is important to you, your best bet is to check the online cruise forum for a recent update. The fitness center and the spa are on deck 16, with a thermal suite on deck 15 accessed through a stairway located within the spa. If you want more of an active workout, you will have to climb to the sports court located on deck 19 at the very top of the ship. Here you will find a combined basketball tennis court, a putting green, and, drumroll please, a jogging track. Princess must have gotten tired of fitness buffs using the promenade for their morning run, because they found space for one up here out of the way of everyone else. Watch out you don't get dizzy running around it though. It is only 1/16 of a mile. That's a lot of laps to get any decent distance in. If you prefer to walk around outside on the promenade deck, that's still an option. A loop around the ship is a little over 1/3 of a mile long. We'd like to rank these ships individually, but really they are so similar that the only way they really stand apart from each other is by their itinerary. The Ruby Princess sails the west coast with routes in Alaska and Hawaii. The Emerald Princess is on the east coast with routes in the Caribbean and New England, but she will be headed to the Mediterranean in 2025. And the Crown Princess is currently cruising Australia, but will soon begin a world cruise circuit. Oh, all the itineraries sound great, I really can't decide. We'll just rank all 3 ships as a 6 out of 10. Well, the Grand Class of ships really have a wonderful layout and a lot to offer, but in the early 2010s, Princess decided they wanted something different and began working on a new design, the Royal Class cruise ship. The Royal Princess debuted in 2013 to much excitement. Princess joined the trend of offering bigger and glitzier cruise ships. The Royal Princess is 1,083 feet long with room for 600 more guests than the ships in the Grand Class. But the extra space wasn't just invested in staterooms. The Royal Princess also has more and bigger venues in the public areas. Deck 18, dedicated to the sports complex, is a perfect example. There is a jogging track that is 0.15 miles long. That doesn't seem like a lot, but it means only 7 laps around for a mile, rather than the dizzyfying 16 on some of the Grand Class ships. There is also a larger sports court, a ping pong area, a driving range, and a putting green, and my favorite, a laser shooting range, all included with your cruise fare. The Piazza is another area that has been made larger and more glamorous. There are many food and beverage venues in this area, including the International Cafe, Vine's Wine Bar, Good Spirits at Sea, a gelateria, Alfredo's Pizza, Bellini's Italian Cocktail Bar, Crooner's Piano Bar, and Ocean Terrace Seafood Bar. Whew, that's a lot! Elsewhere on the Royal Princess, there are the Crown Grill and Sabatini's specialty dining restaurants. And of course, there is still a buffet, pizza, grill, and ice cream on the Lido deck. Princess has stepped up their game when it comes to VIP experiences too. There is an exclusive concierge lounge for suite guests on deck 15. At the Chef's Table Lumiere, diners are seated at an ornate table surrounded by a curtain of light, providing extra privacy from the main dining room. The Lotus Spa now includes the Enclave, a thermal suite 3 times bigger than that on other Princess ships. And now there are private cabanas available at an extra fee in the sanctuary. The pools on the Lido deck are the one area that seem a bit lacking. There are only 2 pool areas with 6 hot tubs, none of which is covered. Guests complain that the adults-only retreat pool can get quite windy. Princess has tried to make up for the lack of pools with their double pool system on the Lido deck. Midship you will find a huge sun deck with a plunge pool and a rectangular pool. Between the two is a circular platform with jets inset into it. At night, this becomes a magnificent water show when the fountains are coordinated with lights and music. To enhance this area on the Lido deck, Princess has added an overwater element called the Sea Walk that extends 28 feet beyond the edge of the ship. From here, passengers can enjoy dramatic views of the ocean 128 feet below. This cruise ship feature gained a lot of popularity, to the point that you can now see it mimicked by other cruise lines like MSC. We have to deduct a point for the lack of pools. We're also disappointed that there isn't a full wraparound on the promenade. Walking around the ship is one of our favorite cruise activities, and there are not many obstacle-free walking paths on the Royal Princess. Overall, we rank the Royal Princess a 5 out of 10. The Regal Princess was built 1 year later with an almost identical plan to the Royal Princess. Princess did listen to their guests' feedback and made one change. The terrace pool was added to the aft of the ship on deck 17. This is a small plunge pool, so it doesn't add much for those looking to do a bit of swimming, but it is nice if you want to take a quick dip to cool off after sunbathing. We'll give the Regal Princess an extra half a point for adding the pool. We rank the Regal Princess a 5.5 out of 10. The third ship in the royal class is the Majestic Princess. Her structural layout is exactly the same as the Royal Princess, with no additional terrace pool. But she was originally built for the Chinese market, and the choice in some of the venues reflect that. Lately, she has been cruising the Alaska circuit, and Princess has slowly been updating her venues to appeal to the change in audience. There are 2 unique restaurants on board with a clear nod to the Asian market. First, on the Lido deck, rather than a poolside pizza joint, Chopsticks Noodles serves ramen bowls. I think this is a great twist on the poolside food venues, and I really hope that Princess doesn't remove it just because the Majestic Princess is no longer sailing Asian waters. Secondly, the Harmony Chinese restaurant replaces Sabatini's as a specialty dining option. Harmony features Michelin star chef Richard Shen's interpretation of classic Cantonese dishes. The Majestic Princess does have the Crown Grill, as well as a third specialty dining recently introduced. The Catch by Rudy has replaced Crooner's Piano Bar. One other interesting food change is the absence of a gelateria. Soft serve ice cream is still served on the Lido deck. Harkening back to its Chinese roots, you will find mahjong tables in the Majestic Princess Vista Lounge gaming room. This is a great area at the aft of the ship, and it's also used for dance classes, enrichment lectures, and small stage shows. Well, I said that the Majestic Princess and the Royal Princess had an identical structural layout, but there is one change that I suppose should be considered structural. There is a covered pool. At the front of the Majestic, the Hollywood Pool Club has replaced the sanctuary with its retreat pool. The Hollywood Pool Club is adults only, but there is no fee to enter. There are cabanas available to rent around the perimeter if you would like a more exclusive experience. Just outside, there are extra ping pong tables set up on the exterior deck inside a netted area. One more unique feature of the Majestic Princess are a series of karaoke lounges that guests may rent out by the hour. I'm not much of a singer, so I don't think I'd try these, but I still think it's a cool concept. We love the addition of a covered pool, especially on cooler Alaska cruises, and the Chinese motifs and unique restaurants are really intriguing. We rank the Majestic Princess a 7 out of 10. 2019 saw the debut of the Sky Princess. She is another ship in the Royal class with an identical layout, but Princess once again took customer feedback into account to improve the design. And it's clear what loyal Princess cruisers wanted: more pool space. Princess complied by installing 2 large rectangular pools back to back on the Lido deck. There is also a beautiful Wakeview infinity pool at the aft of the Lido deck. And of course, the adults only retreat pool can be found on deck 17. There are also an impressive 8 hot tubs, including one for the exclusive use of sanctuary guests. Speaking of the sanctuary, the layout switched up a bit. It used to be on deck 17 near the retreat pool, but on the Sky Princess, this area has been converted into staterooms. Instead, the sun deck on the forward section of deck 18 has been expanded for a sanctuary with a magnificent view. Also on deck 18, you will find 2 impressive new suites called the Sky Suites. These 2-bedroom, 2-bath suites are billed as the biggest balcony at sea and feature an impressive 700 square foot balcony with a 270-degree panoramic view. The deck has your own personal telescope for viewing the stars or the surrounding landscape. And guests staying in the Sky Suite will have the best view of the movies under the stars, plus a chance to choose which movie is shown during one night of the cruise. All these benefits will cost you, though, about $2,500 per day. Unfortunately, the pool expansion came at the expense of the fountains, so there will be no elaborate pyrotechnic laser music shows like the ones offered on the Royal Princess, the Regal Princess, and the Majestic Princess. But the Seawalk remains, and another one was added to the port side of the ship. So make sure you take a selfie at this photogenic spot the next time you're aboard. Inside, there are most of the same public venues as can be found on the Royal Princess, but the exact locations have been reconfigured a bit. The main new addition, the Catch by Rudy's, was recently added as a 3rd specialty dining venue. While almost 5 years now, the Sky Princess still has that exciting new ship feel. The layout is well thought out, and Princess has tried hard to incorporate their guests' favorite features. We rank the Sky Princess an 8 out of 10. The Sky Princess was quite successful, so Princess Cruise Line followed that blueprint when adding 2 more cruise ships to their fleet. The Enchanted Princess debuted in 2021, followed by the Discovery Princess in 2022. There were a few changes to the dining venues. Vine's Wine Bar was replaced with O'Malley's Irish Pub on the Enchanted Princess and the Salty Dog Gastropub on the Discovery Princess. The Crown Grill, Sabatini's, the Catch by Rooney, and Alfredo's Pizzeria are all present, although the locations are different on each ship, and Alfredo's name is now Gigi's by Alfredo. The Ocean Terrace Sushi Bar has been added at the top of the piazza staircase on the promenade deck. And a new restaurant debuted, 360, an immersive dining experience only open to those VIP cruisers with a special invite. I guess if you have to ask how much it costs, you can't afford it anyways. The upper decks of both the Enchanted Princess and the Discovery Princess are identical to the Sky Princess. That means a double pool at the center of the Lido deck, an infinity wakeview pool at the aft, and the adults-only retreat pool below the sanctuary. That also means that 2 of the exclusive Sky Suites are available on both of these ships, giving the Princess fleet a total of 6 of the biggest balconies at sea to offer to their cruisers. Honestly, if I were going to book an insanely expensive stateroom, I think that would be the one. There is not much to distinguish these cruise ships from the Sky Princess, either pro or con. We can give them half a point apiece for having an extra casual dining restaurant. We rank the Enchanted Princess and the Discovery Princess 8.5 out of 10. Well, you've stuck with me on this whirlwind tour of 15 Princess cruise ships. Or maybe you just skipped ahead in the timestamps. Either way, we now come to the newest, the biggest, the most glamorous cruise ships in the Princess fleet, announcing the Sun Princess. The Sun Princess debuted in 2024 to much anticipation and many delays. Princess Cruise Line milked her presentation for all they could, and the internet has been flooded with whisperings about this new ship. Unfortunately, no, we haven't been able to sail on her yet. Honestly, we're holding out for the Star Princess in 2025. However, I have watched numerous ship tours and read every scrap of info published about the Sun Princess so that I could let you know exactly what to expect on this behemoth of a cruise ship. And yes, she is enormous. She is not the biggest cruise ship in the world, but by far the biggest in Princess's fleet, accommodating 4,300 passengers. That's 30% more than Princess's average capacity. And with a price tag of $1 billion, Princess has pulled out all of the stops. Upon entering the ship, guests will be stunned by the piazza, a 3-story area modeled after a European town square. A spherical window surrounds the area, letting in light and giving cruisers access to amazing views. Many of the Sun Princess's 30 restaurants and bars are situated around this piazza. Princess has, of course, included guest favorites, like the Crown Grill, Sabatini's, the Catch by Rudy, Alfredo's Pizzeria, O'Malley's Irish Pub, Bellini's Cocktail Bar, Crooners, the Wheelhouse Bar, and Good Spirits at Sea. On the Lido deck, cruisers can still find poolside pizza, burgers, and ice cream. But the Sun Princess also has a salad bar, a taco bar, and a shawarma station. Princess has made a few changes too. For instance, the International Cafe has been moved to just outside of the buffet on Deck 9 at the top of the piazza. This made room for the new coffee currents on the main floor of the piazza. When you add in coffee and cones on the Lido deck, well, you'll never have to go far to get your caffeine fix. The Sun Princess has veered from the Princess norm of multiple main dining rooms. Instead, she has a single dining room with 3 levels, all with a magnificent view of the ship's wake. One level is dedicated to traditional dining, one to anytime dining, and the final is an all-American themed dining room serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Princess has collaborated with 3 celebrities to debut 3 new specialty restaurants. There is Makota Ocean for sushi enthusiasts, Love by Brito with artist Romero Brito, and The Butcher's Block by Dario. But there is one venue that is getting more hype than all of them, Spellbound by Magic Castle. This experience-based bar pairs specialty cocktails with a magic show with some of the best magicians in Las Vegas. It has guests raving. As tasty as all that sounds, there is more to the Sun Princess than just food. Princess has also redesigned their entertainment on offer. The highlight is the dome at the front of the ship. This covered area has terrace loungers and an indoor-outdoor pool. At night, it transforms into a stage for a breathtaking acrobatics show. In the aft, the upper decks are taken up by Park 19. This exciting recreational area includes a jogging track, casual games like ping pong, Connect 4, and cornhole toss, an obstacle course, and a unique sea breeze hang gliding experience. Wow, the Sun Princess certainly sounds amazing. Am I gushing? I think I'm gushing. Surely this ship can't be completely perfect. And yes, I have heard a few drawbacks. The number one concern seems to be that the Sun Princess will feel too crowded. As I mentioned, she is 30% bigger than the average princess ship and has room for 4,300 guests. However, another way to think about this is that the Sun Princess is similar in size to the MSC Seascape, but carries 1,500 fewer passengers. I think that really puts it into perspective. And for the most part, Princess did a good job creating a ship with an ideal ratio of space to passengers. The one exception is the Dome, which has seating for merely 250 people. This is the venue for what I assume will be the most popular show, the acrobatic display. Yet only 5% of passengers will be able to attend a given show. Even if there are 4 shows per night, which would be unprecedented on any cruise ship we've been on, well, that still only allows for less than 25% of guests to see the show. Cruisers have reported that the Dome was packed almost 45 minutes before the start of a show. I personally would be quite frustrated by this. Will Princess begin requiring tickets for the acrobatic show like on MSC? I certainly hope not. The other negative report I have heard from the Sun Princess revolves around the complimentary drink stations. Apparently, there are none. Now, I don't mean there are no complimentary drinks, but I have heard reports that there are no longer self-serve beverage stations at the buffet or anywhere else on board. Cruisers must request a drink from a waiter. On the surface, this is presented as a health issue, but I feel like this is a subtle way to trick cruisers into buying the Princess Plus or Premier packages that include drinks. On other cruises, we spent significant time strategizing the best way to refill our water bottles and get hot water for tea. It seems like this may be even more difficult on the Sun Princess. Okay, so the Sun Princess isn't perfect, but it sure seems close. We rank the Sun Princess a 9 out of 10. Alright, so there you have it. All 16 of the Princess cruise ships. Let's review some of the main points. You can see most Princess ships have 3 main dining rooms, but this is really subjective as it depends on the total capacity of the ship and the capacity of each dining room. More telling is the number of casual and specialty restaurants, with most ships having 2 of each. Next up, the pools. Again, this is a bit subjective depending on the size of the pools and the number of the guests. Another factor to consider is whether there are any covered pools. One thing you can count on is that every Princess ship will have at least one pool that is long enough and deep enough to do some actual swimming. And now here it is, how we rank each of the Princess cruise ships. In general, the newer ships did receive higher rankings as Princess incorporated more trending features into the designs. But all of the ships have something to recommend them, so don't let a lower ranking deter you. A smaller ship with fewer people on board may be just the ticket for your dream vacation. Which Princess ship would you like to sail on the most? Personally, I'd love to take a spin through the Panama Canal on the Coral Princess. Let me know your favorite in the comments below. Thanks so much for sticking around until the end. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. If you enjoyed this video, you'll definitely want to check out this one next. Remember, on your next cruise, no matter where your cruise takes you or which ship you're on, adventure awaits.